Hey up lads and lasses, and welcome back to the channel. We're here in the glorious Yorkshire hills on this beautiful spring day because I want to give you my unequivocal review of this, the Ducati Scrambler Mach 2. Now I've been riding bikes for about 2 years now, and I'm not ashamed to admit that this was my first bike, and having a Ducati for your first bike is kind of like owning a Ferrari. I had looked at other bikes, for example like the Yamaha MT-07, the Triumph Trident, the Hornet 750, but I kind of realised they weren't for me. I want to dip my toes into all sorts of motorcycling, and I just realised that a Scrambler probably was the best for me. Now when it came to looking at scramblers for me, there was two distinctive ones that I was interested in. There was a Triumph Scrambler and then there was this, the Ducati Scrambler. However, I wasn't getting quite on board with the Ducati Scrambler at the time because they came out in kind of these garish colours that I find, like the neon yellows or the oranges. But this came up on eBay and it had done practically no miles whatsoever, so I just knew I had to have it. This is a Roland Sands Design Edition 2017. So this is an 803cc air-cooled L-twin Desmodromic 2-valve. It's got 73 brake horsepower, 67 Newton meters of torque. It's got an electronic fuel injection with a 50mm throttle body. It's a 6-speed transmission with a slipper clutch. It's got the low position twin shotgun exhaust. It comes with an 18-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear wheel, and they come with standard stock Pirelli MT60 RSs, which are classed as semi-dual sport tyres and are good for road use and light off-road. The seat height is of 790mm, which is good for the short-legged person like myself. It's a dry weight of 170 kilograms and a wet weight of 186 kilograms. The fuel tank capacity is 13.5 litres, and I've had about 120 miles out of this on the motorway with no problems whatsoever. Now the things I like most about this bike is quite obvious, I think. It's the design, it's the colour, it's retro, it's vibes, it's me. You know, you can just see yourself cruising around the countryside or in the city and you'll look fantastic no matter where you go, and it does turn heads. The other thing I like is I'm a bit of a short king, so I decided I wanted a bike that I could touch the floor on. So if we climb on it, as you can see, I can touch the floor on this. At 5'7", it's not a problem whatsoever for me. Now another important part of choosing a bike for me was its luggage carrying capabilities. Now I wanted something I could load up with a 10 and a couple of bags and just go off for the weekend camping, and this does it. I've got a big seat at the back. I've also put an additional luggage rack on the back. If you check my other video you'll see that. It's not an expensive one, it's a cheap one off Amazon, but it does the job. I easily fit a top box onto there when I go out, not a problem. It does take away from the design of the bike, but it's just so handy to have. I can put a big bag on here, a tent on top, and I can have saddlebags, and that's down to this, the low shotgun exhaust. So I'm not burning anything up like I would on a Triumph Scrambler. Another major important factor of this bike was being able to get Top Girl Lauren, aka the wife, on the back of it, because she loves to spend time with me, and who wouldn't? Look at me. So we go traveling all over on it. We've taken it on holiday, we've towed it down to Devon, we've been on the country lanes. We like to take it out on a Saturday, just get a nice view of everything, go for a cup of tea, and it's one of them bikes that you can easily fit your lass on. The only problem I have got with it is the seat is rather slippy though. So if you are putting a sexy lady on the back of there, or a sexy boyfriend, I don't know what you're riding, then just make sure that they're not going to slip off the back, and putting that top box on there would help as well. Now, aside from the fantastic qualities this bike has, there are some downsides, especially if you're a Ducati owner, and I wish I looked into them a bit more before I bought the bike. It probably wouldn't have changed my mind, but one of the main problems is the servicing costs. Now, this bike has recently been serviced by Ducati Scrambler in Bradford, and just for the annual service and the biannual brake fluid change, it was £350. That's excluding the MOT and everything else that needs to be done after that. Luckily, this bike passed first time, no problems whatsoever, but if you do need a new tyre, that's an extra £200 on top of there if you're getting it from Ducati itself. The other big cost is every 15,000 miles this bike needs its desmodromic system servicing. Now, that's a big one. Now, the Desmo sets all Ducatis apart from all other bikes. There's a reason why Ducatis are winning races, and I believe it's down to that desmodromic system. Now, if you were to get that service, that's £1,300 at Scrambler in Bradford. That's £1,300. That's quite a lot of money. That's a full sleeve tattoo. That's a holiday. That's a deposit down on something really nice, I suppose. Now, something else about this bike that might be slightly problematic to you is the heat that it gives off. This is an air-cooled bike. If you change the exhaust, it might not be much of a problem, but with this exhaust itself, it's got this big pan underneath it. It is the best exhaust you can buy for this bike is a shotgun one. It gives you so much power. But when you're sat in standstill traffic, the heat can get up to your thighs, and it's noticeable, especially when your wife's on the back of it. She can feel the heat coming up. So if you are on one of these bikes, you've just got to keep moving. You've got to filter through the traffic, especially on a hot day. In winter, it's not much of a problem because it cools down, but I've been in summer days at 30 degrees Celsius, and it's just absolutely been cooking my legs when I've stopped. So that is one of the problems, but it is highly worth it. If you've got a set of decent jeans like these roadskins on, you don't feel it all too much, but just be wary that that is a problem on it as well. Now, for me, this bike means freedom, and that means getting out into these country lanes. But I wasn't too scared the other week to try it off-roading. We took it to the Peak District and we tried it on one of the big green lanes up by the Winnets Pass, and it did a really good job. I didn't want to push it too hard though, because I don't have a skid plate and stones can chip up and scratching your engine. But it did an absolutely fantastic job, and it looked really cool whilst doing it. Now, I wouldn't use it for anything more than a gravel road really. I didn't even like taking it through the puddles, but it did handle it fine. The suspension worked properly. There was no issues whatsoever with that. The tyres were strong enough. I didn't think they were going to pop on any of the corners. I did pass some enduro riders who were saying that I was crazy for taking it on that green lane, but it wasn't really much of a green lane. We do it all the time on the Honda CRF, so I knew that this bike could handle it. Now, this bike is also exceptionally stable at high speeds. Now, I never speed, so I wouldn't know, but there is reports that this bike can go well over 120 miles an hour, and you have nothing to worry about. It feels so stable, I've been told. So I wouldn't recommend you do it unless you're on a track day, but this could easily go for it. So all in all, should you buy one of these bikes? I think yes. If you're in the market for the first bike, then you want to dip your toes into all sorts of riding. And even if you have got a few bikes already, but not quite a Scrambler type, I'd highly recommend you look at this Ducati Scrambler. There are other alternatives out there, but I think this is just so well balanced. It looks cool. It's got them retro vibes. You might not be able to find one that's the Roland Sands Design Edition. They don't come up very often. But even the new ones that have come out now with the upgraded LED lights, I think they are well worth looking into. I honestly can't fault it for the first bike. 800cc's, I don't think you need to go much higher with that. You can get the speed out of it, you can get a pillion on the back of it, you can put your gear on the back of it, it doesn't struggle. So yeah, if you're in the market for a new bike, I highly recommend that. And with that, people, I'm going to end this video right now. This is my Ducati Scrambler Mach 2. I'd like to thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe and give us a comment if you like this video. It all helps, and I'll see you on the next one.